Northwestern wrestling is more than a sport. It's a legacy that continues to this day. A team with many titles and accomplishments. A team that's had its ups and downs. When you go up those stairs every day, you know it's time to battle with your family. The Northwestern team is not just a team, it's a brotherhood. This is Northwestern wrestling.
The coaches and the community is always there for you, and they have your back no matter what the circumstances.
So the community is really fun, kind of vast. There's dozens of people still around that like the sport. Northwestern wrestling kind of shaped me.
We have a legacy.
One coach that helped out the program a ton was Wes Martin. A third-place finisher himself at the state tournament, Wes lives and breathes wrestling. Wes knew how to get the job done.
I started coaching at Northwestern in 1998. And what stood out was the history of Northwestern wrestling. Ever since I was a little kid in elementary, Northwestern was kind of the dominant area team along with Waynedale. And so in a dual meet in like third or fourth grade between Waynedale and Northwestern, I just liked all of the passion that all the fans had and how much anger and yelling and screaming that I heard from the fans, and it was exciting and fun. So I wanted to coach at Northwestern to continue being a part of that.
How did Wes start getting into coaching?
Originally, I wanted to keep coaching at Northwestern because I graduated from Northwestern. Like I said, I grew up idolizing some of the athletes in the 80s, and I liked hanging around those people, and it just seemed natural to want to coach here. Obviously, for a while, I had a teaching job at a different school, and so I didn't coach here, but always in the back of my mind, coaching here was, I thought would probably happen. I figured it'd just be a matter of time. You know, my son was going to come through the program, and so I assumed at some point in time I would be back. And again, working with Spencer Hershey, Rick Weller, Chad Rowland, all those guys that I sort of knew and respected and dealt with in the past, just seemed natural to come back and work with them. Jamie Dotson and Matt Sigler and those kind of guys. It just seemed like something that was part of what I was going to do in my life. Northwestern wrestling kind of shaped me. I was a pretty decent worker. My old man was kind of a good worker and instilled that work ethic in me, but Northwestern wrestling sort of helps me become and work on becoming a good worker. I wasn't that athletic, I wasn't that talented, but I knew if I could work hard. Wrestling is one of the sports, especially in a smaller school, Division III. You don't have to be a freak athlete, you don't have to be fantastic, but if you work hard, good things will come. And I sort of noticed that right away, and so I just worked really hard. And I sort of kept that work ethic, I think, throughout my life and tried to instill that into my kids, and a lot of that had to do with wrestling here at Northwestern.
A new young coach then took over the position. His name was Matt Schaefer, a coach with a family background of wrestling. Matt hoped he could continue the Northwestern legacy. Matt, just 28 at the time, had a lot to handle. Northwestern, for the first time since 1996, did not have a state qualifier the previous season. Matt overcame the adversity, though, and was able to take 3 kids to the state tournament in his first year coaching. This included a state placer from CAEL ROWLAND.
Luckily, I've been here for 2 years prior to stepping into the head coach spot when I did. I knew that we had a bunch of kids with a lot of experience, a lot of kids with some natural talent, and some good leadership. So I was very excited to step into it when I did. It was earlier than what I expected. It was really nice too, knowing that I had people like Wes Martin to help me, and Coach Rowland was going to be there. And I went to Northwestern, so I had a little bit of background on how things ran and how things worked. So to step into the program when I did, it was exciting, and I felt pretty confident that we were going to have some success right away. Like any season, we had some peaks and we had some valleys. Obviously, the peak was when we had 3 guys make it to the state tournament and 1 guy place. I was happy that 2 guys are back next year's state qualifiers. I was really happy to see seniors like Derek Duvall, who put a lot of time in, reap the benefits of his hard work and make it. Another thing that I was really proud of was our dual record. We had a really young team, and we still won 13 dual meets out of 20, which is pretty respectable. Some of the low points, we had some injuries here and there that hampered things. We got 4th at county, which I thought we could have been 2nd or 3rd, and I would have liked to have gotten 2 or 3 more guys to the district tournament. So, but my thoughts on the whole for the season, it was pretty successful. We have a lot of guys coming back. I think we improved throughout the season, which as coaches, that's all you could ask for. We had great leadership to set a good example, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going to go in the future with the good group of guys that we got.
This is how Matt describes Northwestern wrestling.
Northwestern wrestling is a very storied program. We've only had a program since I think the early to mid 70s. And if you look at the banners on the wall here in the gymnasium, you'll see that since the wrestling team has begun, we've won more league titles than any program in school history. Since we've come around, we've had the most All-Ohioans, and we've also had the most recent team to make it to the state Final Four. To me, our wrestling program is known for having tough, gritty kids. And as a coach, I want to be known as one of the premier programs in the state. So we've been working very hard to get kids to buy in. We've been working very hard to get kids stronger. Northwestern wrestling did a lot for me growing up. It gave me an identity. It helped keep me out of trouble. It showed me what hard work was. And I know that as a coach, I want to give back by leading these young men. So to answer the question, I just think Northwestern wrestling is about tough, hard-nosed kids trying to make a name for themselves, and that's what we want to accomplish.
Northwestern wrestling is not without its faults. This is what Matt Schaefer wants to improve upon in the upcoming season.
Another thing we need to do is get stronger. Our guys have traditionally had the best technique in the county. We've always been in the best shape. We haven't always been the strongest. So we've been putting a special emphasis on lifting in the morning. Guys seem to be buying into that. We've been getting 10 to 12 guys here every morning at 5:30 to lift. And I think the next thing we need to do as coaches is we need to get kids to understand the importance of off-season work and the importance of hard work. Once we get kids to buy into that, they'll start winning more matches, which then is another recruiting tool for other kids. So I think to really turn the program in the direction we want it to, we need to have a strong youth system. We need to keep kids out. We need to get stronger, and we need to be more dedicated in the off-season. My goals for the upcoming season, I would like to get 2 guys placed at the state wrestling tournament. I think that's very achievable. And I want to get 5 guys down to Columbus as a coach. I would like to win the league title, and I would make it at least to the Elite 8 in the state duels. I think those are very attainable with the guys that we have coming back and with the effort I've seen so far in the weight room. Another goal then, as a program overall, 40 kids in the youth program, 15 kids on the junior high team, and 25 on the high school team. If we could do that, we're going to set ourselves up to have success in the future, as well as a successful season next year.
This is what made these young men want to wrestle.
Well, I just started wrestling because it's kind of a funny story, but so there was this girl in 6th grade, and we were taking a PE test. And this girl can only be described as something of a and so she beats me in the fitness test, and it scarred me for life. It made me vow that I'd never lose to a girl again. So I just wrestled and got really fit that way during that year, and I just never quit.
So my dad kind of got me into wrestling when I was like 6, and then after that I just really didn't stop.
In 2nd grade, I got a forum home about wrestling, so I decided to try it, and I wrestled all the way through.
My dad was a wrestler, and that kind of just threw me into the wrestling family, and so he kind of forced me to wrestle almost.
These are the wrestler's favorite memory of the sport.
My favorite wrestling memory was probably this year in the district Concy semifinals match when I won it and made it to state.
Probably be qualifying for the state tournament or just being at the state tournament. It was nice having 2 of my friends at the state tournament with me. The whole weekend was just a blast, and it was awesome to go wrestle on the biggest stage I've ever wrestled on.
Down at state, my placement match to get into placement, I beat a kid that I wasn't supposed to beat, who was a senior from Mohawk, and I beat him 9-0, so it was just kind of handed it to him, so it was a lot of fun.
These are what wrestlers had to say about practice.
Absolute hell on earth. It's grueling, it's long, and no sport can really replicate it.
Practices are miserable. They're not fun. They're honestly awful, but at the end of the day, they make you who you are. So overall, I like them, but it's like a love and a hate relationship, I'd say.
Well, practices, pretty much just awful. They're not fun. You don't have any fun whatsoever. And really, you just try to get better, I guess.
Well, at the beginning of the season, they're pretty easy, and then towards the end of the season, whenever the studs are the only ones left, it's really difficult, and it's just hard drilling, and then live, and chat bitching people out, and then live again. That's a practice.
These are the wrestler's goals for next season.
I want to win state, and so I've been working out twice a week, lifting twice a week, etc. to achieve my goal.
My goals for the next season is probably being top 3 in the state.
Northwestern wrestling sticks out. This is what makes them different from any other program.
Northwestern wrestling is different from other programs because our coaches, they're really technical, and they really make us work hard, so I feel like we're better than any other program.
We have a legacy, and obviously Chad and I together have a legacy of state placing, which is pretty awesome. And then wrestling-wise, we've always been in a lot better shape than everybody else, and I think that has won us some county titles and a lot of big matches.
Well, I'd say what makes Northwestern wrestling different than any other program would just be the loyalty. I started wrestling in 2nd grade, and Chad ROWLAND coached me in 2nd grade, and he's coached me all the way through. And I met Wes in 5th grade, and he's coached me all the way through, and he's still been a part of my life. And that's the same with Schaefer. I met Schaefer my freshman year, and he coached me all the way through as well. And they've always helped me. They've always gave me the tools I needed, and they drove me to 45 minutes away to go to practices. They've drove me 3 hours away to go to Indiana and wrestle at duels. They've drove me everywhere, and they've always just wanted me to succeed, and they've always tried their best to give me the tools to be successful. And that's just what this program's about. They'll give you the tools. It just depends on if you want to use them or not.
Northwestern wrestling is tough. Northwestern wrestling is unforgiving. Northwestern wrestling is hell. Northwestern wrestling is motivation. Northwestern wrestling is inspiration. Northwestern wrestling is hope. All in all, every time, there is a brotherhood in that loft up there. And next season, the brotherhood will continue. We will be stronger. We will fight harder. We will win.